Mango Thunderslice, and today we're going to talk about our connection to our mother, planet Earth. Grounding, or if you're in another country, sometimes they call it earthing, but essentially it's the same concept as when you plug in an electrical device. You've got electricity coming into the device, but also as a safety, you've got that third prong at the bottom of the socket. And that basically makes sure all the excess electrons, all the excess energy in the system gets grounded back to the Earth and doesn't fry the system. Now, this isn't just a concept for electronics, it actually is part of the human body. Essentially, everybody knows when you're bare feet on bare earth or on the grass, especially on the beach too, it just feels good, you know, except there's actually science to that. That's not by any means just a placebo effect. What we're talking about is the human body essentially having a direct connection with the earth. Just like maybe for those of you who go camping, when you sleep at night in the tent, you know, even though you're not on a mattress, or some of you get a mattress, a blow-up mattress, but anyway, you're close to the earth, and it feels really good. Usually I sleep really well when I'm out on the earth. Even just having, you know, a few layers of vinyl or whatever in between, I still get that great connection. I feel great the next morning. Grounding is the concept of basically using this principle in your daily life. Trying, you know, at least once a day to go barefoot on bare earth for a few minutes, at least 5, 10, 15 minutes, and gaining essentially that reconnection with the earth. All that excess energy that builds up in the system manifests as just this jittery, way too high energy, you know, attitude. All that can be drained back into the earth. Okay, so humans, we've been connected to the earth. We've evolved that way. We, you know, evolved for millions of years, running barefoot on bare earth, sleeping very close to the earth, having that grounding principle active while we're sleeping and while we're living. Now in the modern world, we have rubber-soled shoes that basically completely insulate our connection to the earth. Certain companies, like Juul, J-U-I-L, have made essentially flip-flops and shoes with copper posts going right through where the toes are. Essentially these go right through the shoe, so you maintain that electrical connection to the earth without having to be barefoot all the time. We got a pair for Space Panther over here as well.
Yes, and obviously it's always better to have direct connection, you know, going bare feet on bare earth whenever you can, but most people don't want to walk around downtown barefoot, or, you know, if you're walking on a dirt path, there's thorns, stickers, not everyone has tough enough feet.
Alright, to prove this point scientifically and show the grounding principle in action using a device, we've got a simple digital multimeter right here. What this does is records small electrical currents. Essentially you can use this for testing sockets and other electrical appliances, but today we're actually going to show how grounding works in science. Okay, metal wire going right into the ground. So essentially every appliance inside your house is grounded like this through the systems in the walls, and there's a wire that goes down and actually touches the earth. We put the black lead attached to that wire. So we're testing an electrical current, and now we've got a ground to the device. On the screen, so now I'm holding the red lead. So basically what this is now recording is the electrical current going through my body. Takes a second just to equalize. So now essentially I'm standing on bare earth. There's virtually nothing being recorded. It's 0.00. Yeah, it's real small. Alright, so that's me with my bare feet on bare grass. Now watch what happens. I've got two little rubber pieces over here on the ground. I stand right on those. And all of a sudden it jumps up to about 0.15 volts. It's been kind of swinging between 0.15 and 0.18. I only got tiny little pieces of rubber here, but this is the same principle as with any normal pair of shoes that you're wearing. As you can see, my feet are just on the rubber. We got 0.15 volts. I take my feet off, and it goes back down to about 0. And if I put on my Juul shoes right here, make sure my toes are touching those copper points. It's not exactly well, let's see, I'll move them around a little bit, and you can see it gets down.
It's about half.
Not an absolute perfect ground.
It's about half as much.
There we go. In addition to barefoot on bare earth contact and the Juul shoes, which give you kind of almost as good grounding, the third option is actually to use the electrical sockets inside your own house. So, let's take a look. Every electrical outlet has three plugs. We got these two, which are electricity, and this one, which is the ground. And we got a wire over here. This essentially, this green wire is an alligator clip lead to just a standard electrical socket, but these two are not being used. Just the ground is being used. So we can plug this into the socket and it actually does the same electrical, it's kind of mimicking the grounding effect using the electrical circuitry in your house. So, in order to make sure that we don't get electrocuted, we've got this little guy. This, you plug into any socket, and we'll use it on the one we're using. Space Panther and I, we got 2 queen-size beds because we love to sleep. We plug this little guy in here. And it's 2 orange on the right, which if you can see, that means correct. So we know that the ground is good on the socket. We plug that in here. So now whatever is touching this green wire is grounded. And essentially these blue fabrics here, this is electrically conductive fabric. Inside, I don't know if you can see, but there's a pattern in the fabric, and these are small carbon fibers that are electrically conductive. So whatever, if the sheet is grounded to the wire, then the entire thing is grounded, and it gets that same effect for your body. So you can see it's going from the wall, clipped over here. What I do for Space Panther, just clip this wire on right there, and this wire goes do over here. So essentially we got both sheets grounded off the same plug. You can buy a pre-made one of these sheets. I'm kind of a do-it-yourself guy. I always like to spend a little less money and see if I can make it myself. This is the cheapest electrically conductive fabric that I could find, the least expensive. There are higher quality fabrics, and if you go, we'll add the links in the video description, you can buy actually fitted sheets for the bed that are a little easier. But again, I like to build it myself. So just to show off the point here, we're going to take, this is the lead to our little millivolt meter over here, so we can actually get a sense, mathematically, we know that it's actually grounding. So again, I touch the positive lead to my finger. We can see I got about 0.2, depending if I rub my feet on the ground, it goes way up. Yeah, over a volt if I just rub my socks on the ground, but we're about 0.2 normally. Yeah, 0.15. It kind of ranges around. But then, okay, so I hold this in my finger and touch the fabric. So we've got the ground over here. I touch the fabric and it goes down to about 0.05. So it goes down to about 60% just from touching the fabric. You know, as I get farther away, it's not as much of an effect, but again, I'm laying usually across the entire sheet, so the more skin contact the better, the more it's going to get that ground. Again, it's not perfect, but what we are doing is we're getting some grounding. We're at least getting that electrical grounding effect so that you can experience the health benefits. And notice, what I've noticed is I sleep better. I sleep more comfortably when I wake up. I feel more refreshed. Space Panther had the same effect for herself. So essentially we've got 2 sheets here, so while we sleep, you know, all the Wi-Fi in the house, all that's getting drained from our bodies. We've got the electrons coming up from the earth, and yeah, so that's option number 3 for grounding. It's good to be connected to the earth. The sun represents the heart of the solar system, distributes energy to all the other parts of all of its system, of all the different planets. And the earth is the representative of the generative principle. The Earth is the most fertile of all the planets in the solar system. Of all of them, this is where life is coming together. This is where life is being created. So again, it's good to be connected to the Earth. Here again, got the electrically conductive shoes. Barefoot on bare Earth works too. But the Earth has so much energy in it. Everything you see here is a result of the sun interacting with the Earth. The masculine solar energy coming down into the feminine earth energy and creating new life. Essentially, when we connect, barefoot, bare earth, earthing shoes, or the earthing mat, we restore that energy within ourselves. We drain all the energy from all the artificial Wi-Fi signals, electromagnetic frequencies, and we reconnect with that Schumann resonance, that heartbeat of the earth. You know, we have to actually be connected, literally, physically, in order to be connected in the grander sense, the poetic sense. And when we have that connection, we don't ever wish to do violence to other people. We don't want to control them. We don't want to take them over. When you're a part of this, do you really want to go fight a war? And neither do I.